Good morning, class. Today we're going to talk about what you want to be when you grow up. Frankie, let's start with you.
When I grow up, I want to be a magic fine sorceress.
Welcome, my Magic Find Goonies. In this video, I'll be sharing how I evolve my MF items and skills as I progress in 3 phases before mapping. This video is mainly targeted for the newcomers, so for all of you OG MFers, I apologize in advance, and I hope you share your tips and tricks in the comments below. Please be gentle as you unleash your inner keyboard warrior. As always, I appreciate all the love and support, and if you find any value at all, I really would appreciate if you would please like this video. This is the day 1 footage of the gear that I started the MF grind with. I'm using a Spirit Sword, Lore Helm, +1 skill Ami, Spirit Monarch, 35% MF boots, 10 FCR ring with some resists, random FHR belt, stealth breastplate, 17% Magic Find ring, and a pair of 20% MF gloves. For Magic Find gloves and boots, you can find them in Act 5 Hell from Anya. Keep refreshing her trade table until you find a pair that suits your style. I would also recommend finding yourself a 3 open socket helm and 4 open socket armor. Hopefully you have at least a few flawless topaz by this point. You can always go look for perfect gem shrines in the stony field to escalate the process. 168% Magic Find goes a long way when you're grinding for hours. As a new sorceress, I feel like you only have 2 options for skills. I chose to start Fire and play with Hydra because it can be a good therapy pet in times of need, but mainly because it has such a passive playstyle, it's extremely safe, and it's brain dead easy. The second option I would recommend is Frozen Orb. The damage is definitely there, but I personally believe it's a bit mana hungry when you're basically naked. The playstyle is a little more aggressive. Instead of just throwing Hydras and staying 6 feet apart, you're a lot more up in the enemy's face and may be escorted to leave. It's time to start your first grinding session as a Fire Sorc in the Stony Tombs. The Stony Tombs is a level 85 zone that has no fire immunes. I suggest grinding here until you and your mercenary feel strong enough to advance. Playing with Hydra in this area reminds me a lot like playing peekaboo with my dog Nelly. Well, minus the Hydras. Peek out around the door, cast some Hydras, and fall back and be patient. The benefit of this area is that it has a super chest in level 2. If you decide to start Frozen Orb, Ancient Tunnels is the place for you. It's also a level 85 zone. If you feel up to it, you can try Hell Andy too. If you're good at aiming, make sure your frozen balls explode inside her for maximum damage. Remember, this is just a suggestion on what I recommend farming. If for some reason you find these zones hard to farm, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go back to Nightmare and farm Mephisto. Welcome to Phase 2 of my Sorc's item progression. I'm using a Tal's Orb, a Tal's Mask, a Tal's Ami, a Storm Shield, 38% Ward Travs, a Raven Frost for Cannot Be Frozen, Atma's Wail with an FHR corruption, a Tal Rasha Belt, a Dwarf Star, and some Mage Fists with the Magic Find corruption. My switch is an Alibaba for MF and a Spirit Monarch. My mercenaries using a Tal Helm for the Life Leech, an Insight for the Meditation Aura, Treachery for the attack speed, Gore Riders, a Life Leech belt, and a pair of LOH gloves. The item progression that you just saw was day 6 of the ladder reset. Remember, it's important to balance Magic Find with kill speed. I was currently sitting at 215% Magic Find, and I felt my clear speed was decent for what I was farming. After gearing my mercenary up to take a few hits, I decided to transition into Meteor. Meteor is way better than Hydra, but you really need to position your mercenary in front of you to be your meat shield while you drop it like it's hot. If you're still having fun playing Frozen Orb, I would recommend putting extra points into Teleport after you max all synergies and Cold Mastery. After you have a mercenary that can tank and do enough damage to take out Eldritch Pindle and Shank if they roll a Fire Immune mod, it's time to start your second grinding session. EPS, Eldritch Pindle Shank, is a great place to farm after a ladder reset. After you get in the groove, you should be killing all 3 super uniques between 1 and 2 minutes. Honestly, if you wanted to farm EPS for the next week, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Shakos, runes, skillers, all the basics drop here. If you're lucky, you can even get the big ticket items from Pindle. If you're still a Frozen Orb sorceress, I would only recommend adding Pindle and Helmeth to your farming platter. Eldritch and Shank's minions are all cold immune. Meteor is very capable of farming Helmeth too. Welcome to Phase 3 of my item progression. I'm using a 3 open socket Tal's Orb, a +1 skill Tal's Mask, Tal's Ami, Medusa's Gaze for the shield, rare boots with dual res MF and cannot be frozen corruption, a 29% Najo ring, Tal's belt, Tal's armor with 2p topazes for a total of 124% magic find, that same 10 FCR ring with light res from day 1, and 36% MF chances. I consider a full tall set to be pre-bisque before mapping. I have a total of 0 skillers because I've been currently testing Frozen Orb and haven't decided yet on what skill I will be using. Frozen Orb does a lot of damage, but everyone's running around acting like the cold never bothered them anyway. I think I'll let it go. Let it go, because I enjoy Meteor's playstyle a lot more. I'll be switching back to Meteor sometime next week and will do a complete guide with it after I get a full set of fire skillers. I'm currently at 324% magic find and have been contemplating if I should put 3 Is runes in my 3 open socket Tal's Orb. Currently, I've been farming Helmeth looking for a Shaco and anything that I can pawn for some currency. I do have a problem with slamming items, and this season hasn't been very good to me. I feel like PD2 needs a 1-800 number that can help us addicts that can't save 1 Worldstone shard. I will be transitioning into T1 maps this weekend. My hardcore roots have been holding me back from entering maps too early. I really would like to cap out my resistances and have a full inventory of skillers before I commit. If you're still here, I thought I'd share the secret magic find number that everyone keeps asking about. I personally would recommend to have at least 200% magic find and no more than 400%. Anything over 400% is a waste because of diminishing returns. I would get out my calculator and graphs to go into the specifics, but I'm just a nerd, not a super nerd. Here's a small list of a few low-level items that your friends may or may not have. Instead of bugging them for a Shaco and an Oculus, maybe they can part ways with a Ghoul Dagger for the Switch, 100% magic find. 3-piece Sagans while using the boots will give you 50%. Tancred's Boots and Amulet is one of my favorite combos, which gives 78, and if you still can't find those damn perfect topazes and happen to have a Lemon-a-Ko rune, you can always make wealth. The list goes on and on. Good luck on your MF journey. I hope RNGesus blesses you with many, many F Shakos. Until next time, peace.